Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Nonprofit Courage Lab podcast. I am here with Cara, and I'm so excited for you to meet her. We are going to talk about our work together. She is a Courage Lab grad and is an all-star student, an amazing leader in her community, and I can't wait for you to hear from her directly the last 6 months, the last 7 months, what it's been like for her. So, hi, Cara. Thanks so much for joining me on the podcast.
Hey, Julie, thanks so much for having me. I'm really honored to be here.
Woo! Yeah, and I really wanted to have you on because I feel like a lot of people can relate to your experience as a solo ED and managing a board and managing the programs and volunteers and operations and development and the team. And it's a lot, right?
Mhm.
And so, yeah, go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell us, you're the executive director and where you're located and a little bit more about your nonprofit.
Thank you. So I'm Cara Augsperger. I'm the executive director of the Grace Care Center Foundation. Grace Care Center is a really robust community center located just north of Indianapolis, Indiana. And what we do is we are home to a beautiful free fresh food market. And what we do is we meet people kind of at a point of crisis and work with them until they're all the way out of poverty. And we're meeting about 600 families every single week. We're engaging about 250 volunteers. Grace Care Center is where the work happens. And with me, with the Grace Care Center Foundation, I'm here to raise the support and to really advocate for the need for Grace Care Center in our community.
Beautiful. Thank you for what you do.
Thanks.
It's so important. So we started working together January of this year, 2025. So tell me, I want to know what would you say is your biggest takeaway, your biggest win since we started working together 6 months ago?
A couple of things. First of all, I was just able to articulate what I do clearly, so that was a win for me.
Woohoo!
Um, Um, but you had this way of helping me realize that I'm in this role on purpose for a purpose. And for me, it was about owning my voice, leaning into the strategic side of fundraising rather than just kind of staying in the operational lane where I'm really comfortable. And I think the biggest win for me was you helped me build confidence in donor and in my board relationships, because those are areas I really had not felt as strong.
Yeah, I love that. Um, I've loved working with you, so it's been a real honor. Tell people about your board. So, what was it like before? I mean, I think you had a pretty, I would say, more active board in terms of being involved in like the day to day, from what
Mhm.
I could tell before we started working together. But how helpful were they in terms of fundraising? Like, what did that look like, and what does it look like now? Like, how have things changed?
Well, a couple of things. So I'm actually coming at this executive director role from a really interesting perspective because before I stepped into this role, the day before, I was the board chair. I've been involved with the foundation since we got our 501(c)(3) in 2017. And so I was a founding board member and I had the unique perspective of being vice chair and then chair. And then the organization was really in a fragile spot in 2023. Sorry, my phone. Um,
That's fine.
and so our foundation was really in a fragile spot in 2023. And I looked at my board and I said, would you consider me? I had always kind of I've always had a fundraising background,
Mm,
and I had a desire to really help this organization I care about get to a healthier place. So, yes, so my board, obviously, I had been around the table with them for quite some time. They're actually, we're close, we're a close knit community, and we're friends, and we're a working board. So, when we first started as a foundation, as a board member, I was writing the acknowledgement letters and someone else was, handling the finances before we even had a full-time executive director. when I stepped into this role, I was very transparent with them that I needed to grow in confidence. I had operations down. I could write an annual fund letter with the best of them. Where I struggled most was the ability to get in front of donors, make the case, and let their philanthropy do amazing things for our organization. So I made the case that I wanted to work with Julie. Julie, I've always admired you and the way your kind of no nonsense approach to getting stuff done. And I really wanted to kind of emulate that in myself. So that's why I made the case. We built it into the budget. We actually used it as I was eligible for a bonus, and I asked for this coaching as a bonus in place of a financial bonus for me this year. And
Wow.
they felt
I did not
strongly that
know
it was a
that.
great investment. Yeah.
I'm honored. Thank you. Wow. So you said you made the case to your board to do Courage Lab. How'd you do that?
So honestly, it was dollars and cents. We had, I had a portfolio, um, and I was just really transparent that I was shaky getting in front of these people. Um, I could write them an email. I could, set up the time to meet. But when it came to sitting down face to face, I was really intimidated. And so they saw that in me as well, and they felt like it was a really good investment.
And how do they feel about it now?
I would say that just even over the last couple of weeks, they've been really blown away um, with the clarity, the confidence. I've been growing in executive presence. I've struggled with that as well, and they have been really pleased.
So what are they saying to you now? Like what's different? What's the feedback you're getting from your board?
Well, so Julie, you have this framework of events that don't suck. And so we use
Yeah. Woohoo! Yes, I do.
we use that as a base for a model for an event we had recently. Um, what we did is two of our board members hosted many of their friends
Yeah,
um, for this event, and what they wanted to do is tell the people that they cared about the organization they care about.
right.
And I would say these people had never heard of our organization before. These guests were generous. They were big-hearted people, and those were the real big criteria to get in the room.
Yeah.
And so our board used their networks. They used a network to bring in like a superstar special guest who donated his time to be there. And we designed this program. And we really tried to use some opportunities to highlight our mission and make sure people understood why they were giving. Um, we worked really hard to make it something that our board members would be proud of. If I could just rewind, when I first stepped into this role, our organization was in a shaky place and we were not attractive to others. We had board members who were hesitant to invite people to even join the board. They didn't want to
Mm.
talk about board membership. They weren't bringing in people for tours. There was just no confidence. Well, fast forward 18 months, they have these generous individuals in this room. They are showcasing the mission. And I kid you not, that one night we raised, now it's $273,000 from one night, and most of those were multi-year commitments. And so it was a catalyst that we needed. We went from an organization that we were hesitant to talk about to one that they're proud to showcase. And they put me in the spotlight, and I'm really proud um, that they did that because I was able to use some of these new skills I have to speak with confidence, to really just, it's not about me, it's about the organization and how their philanthropy can really make a difference. And so we just kind of, just even flipping that script a little bit with some of the things that you've helped me with, I feel like it was just a real highlight. And we're going to look back in our organizational history and say that was a highlight. So, yeah.
Wow. So let's talk numbers. How
Yeah.
many people, you had two board members host it. How
Mhm.
much did you pay the nonprofit? How much did you guys pay for the event?
So their networks covered all the expenses for the event. So One of the event hosts hosted it on their property, so that was covered.
Yep.
Another one invited a friend of theirs who enjoys doing these things to cover the cost of the catering, those kind of things. So as an organization, we really had no expenses in this. So
Yeah.
I did have I printed some materials. I
Okay.
had my own investment of creating, a video, creating, the Canva presentation that we had that night, that kind of thing. So some creative work was probably our biggest investment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how many people came?
So we had about 100 people there. So
Whoa.
I know that's where the hybrid of events that don't suck kind of cross with events that do suck. It was not
Okay,
an
because
intimate
my
evening.
method is like more intimate, right? So
Yeah,
you
your
need
method's like
people,
12
but
people. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
but that's what I mean, people just brought more guests, right? So that's why. So you
yeah.
had, how many guests did you have? Like people who were not donors?
Um, Gosh, I think everybody except our board members gave. So everybody who's in the room made a donation.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you said that you had 18 3-year commitments.
Can you believe it? Yes. Yes. That is what just floored me. Um, so that night added we clarify a major donor as anyone who gives $10,000 or more. So
Yeah.
we added three new major donors that night. We added 18 3-year commitments. Going into this, we had one 3-year commitment booked overall. So
Wow.
that's that like 17,000% or something like that. Uh, adding
Wow.
adding 17 more to that. But yeah, so that was a catalyst, a shift towards multi-year giving, that's really going to help with some stability, a shift into adding some brand new to the organization donors at that $10,000 a year level or more. That was huge for us. We have a lot of work to do to nurture those and make sure that they know that that's a good investment moving forward. But what a catalyst that night was.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it feels really good.
Uh, yeah, tell me, I mean, how do you feel now? Like what I know that you talked about how confidence was something that you felt like you wanted to have more of, and you didn't really feel confident, particularly with Major Gifts fundraising.
Yeah.
How do you feel about all that now?
I would say it's a continuum, I'm sure. I'm way ahead of where I was when I started working with you, but I'm still a work in progress. I know I still have a lot of I think just mental hurdles to get through myself, but for me, especially with this event, with how we're tracking on fundraising this year, I feel more confident. I feel like I can do it. And honestly, Julie, I have struggled the last couple months, even just backing out of the driveway to come to the office, and just kind of saying, like, all right, here we go again.
Mm,
I don't feel that way right now. I feel like, all right, let's go. What's ahead of us today? And so I feel like that's just kind of been, obviously, I keep using the word catalyst. Ugh, it's terrible, but that was a monumental moment in our organization. But also, I feel like it's been a big shift within me as well.
mm. Okay, so let's go back to 2024.
Okay.
What was most scary for you about fundraising, about hitting your goals, about specifically major gifts and getting your board members to help you with fundraising? What was stopping you in the past?
So before working with you, I would say fundraising was something I knew how to do, but it wasn't something I owned. I was solid with annual giving techniques, with communications, and I was probably really playing it safe. Our fundraising was steady. We have an amazing donor and volunteer base that have stuck with us through the years. My board challenged me to step into those bigger, more strategic conversations. Um, they felt that if we're going to move the organization forward, major giving is really a key to the health of the future of our organization. So we wanted to keep the mission moving, making sure families have access to healthy food, resources to break through some big barriers. So it depends on those generous people and the extraordinary work that's happening there. And so they really wanted me to tap into that. So as far as they're concerned, they were very, in the past, they've been very encouraging. They've challenged me to work hard and do my best, but I don't know that they've always been actively inviting their networks in and things like that. So as an outcome of working with you, I'm now challenging them to step into that space. This event was a great example of that. We have some more opportunities. We have board members who are now inviting some of their network in for tours. We have a board member who said, hey, this is a guy in our community who's getting ready to kind of downshift in his career. He's looking for a way to be engaged. Let's get him on the board. So now they're thinking who in their network might be willing to be in this work alongside them, which is really great. Before we were kind of digging out of our volunteer pool, and now we're kind of thinking about bringing others into the organization.
Mm. So more new people are coming in
Yeah.
steadily throughout the course of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything like this in our 7-year history. And so I feel like we're a grown up now, like I feel like we're kind of growing into ourselves and hopefully it's a good indicator of what's ahead.
Yeah. Um, what the way that you used to do fundraising, like
Mhm.
what kind of mental gymnastics were you doing?
Hmm.
How did you psych yourself out? If we could like see inside of your mind, what were some of the thoughts that maybe you were overthinking? Like go back to your old self. Like what was this all like before?
Mm-hmm. I would say, what was I overthinking? I was overthinking. Give me a second here.
Yeah.
I would say before, I was really overthinking that it all depended on me. That I had, and maybe it was from things I had learned about fundraising over the years, or it was from my own, limited experiences, especially with major gifts. But had this picture in my mind that working with a major donor meant I had to have a proposal and I had to have an ask amount ready and I had to have something very specific that was completely geared toward their interests and past generosity and things like that. So I think I was overthinking, making it way too complex, making it um, almost a system or an operation that I had to tweak or perfect somehow. And I think working with you helped me understand. And I often say this to myself, I can't manage others' philanthropy. All I can do is put a need in front of them and ask them if they would consider supporting it. So that framework changed things for me. I know what my needs are inside and out. And so honestly, if I just take it to the right people, big-hearted, generous people who care about our community and put that in front of them, that has really changed the overthinking. It's changed the stressful. It's changed my procrastination about it because now it's not so hard. I'm able to express where we are as an organization, where we think we're going to grow, and invite them into it.
Mm, yes. That's so good. Golden nuggets. Uh um okay, so let's talk about Courage Lab. So
Yeah.
6 months of working together
Mhm.
and talk about and and tell me about what were like the specific things or tools or strategies that really helped you. Like, what did you do that helped you to get your board helping you and to really change the way that you fundraise? Talk about, I mean, you're at 25% ahead of projecting where you thought you would be in revenue at this time of year. And as I understand it, that's not been the case in the past. This is the first time in the history of the organization you've been ahead, that far ahead.
Mhm.
And so, congrats. So,
Thanks.
so what would you attribute to that? Like, what were some of the things that we worked on together in Courage Lab that really made a difference for you that were most helpful?
I think first and foremost, working with you, Julie, helped me stay accountable and keep moving forward. Like I shared before, when things are scary or overwhelming, I tend to procrastinate them and move them down my to-do list and instead focus on the things I'm really good. I know I can knock out. And operations, communications, those come easier to me. So I needed that accountability on the hard things. Being a team of one, fundraising can also be really lonely. And so I'm over here carrying the vision, setting the goals, managing the relationships by myself. And so honestly, having you in my corner, it meant that I could stay a little more focused.
Mm.
You challenged me when I played it too safe. I think that we did that every single month. You helped me celebrate wins too, which I'm also grateful for. I built some skills, but I think really having that support and accountability was really huge. And I will also say that working with you helped me show up in boldness and clarity in front of donors, but also with our board. So I thought that was something that I don't know that I really could have gotten from anyone but you, Julie. So thank you for that.
Oh,
You did, and if we get down to numbers, we are tracking about 25% ahead of where we thought we would be this year, which honestly, in this season and in the way things are going for everyone this year, I think that that is a huge victory because I think a lot of people are lagging, which is great. I think another really great thing is that there's promises of more committed for next year and then the year after with these 3-year commitments, which is really great. So I would say that a lot of this year's revenue, all of the future year support that we have on the books right now is really attributed to you, that support, the encouragement, your tools, all the templates and things have really helped me. Even when I have to make an email to a donor asking for a meeting or a phone call, I'll pull it up on my screen and have it ready. So I think we've got a lot of momentum right now, and I really attribute a lot of that to working with you.
wow. You did it. You got that
Aw,
done.
thanks.
I mean, and getting your board to bring, all these plus ones and then everybody who showed up that event donated
Amazing. Yes, right.
100% participation in giving. That's bananas. Like
Yeah,
that's the stuff that people dream about.
for sure. Yeah,
It's pretty
absolutely.
amazing. So
And
congratulations on that.
thank you. I would also like to add too, it's more than money. We've had some real growth in a lot of those lead indicators too. So number of tours that we've given, or corporate conversations, or just oh my gosh, the I've had 2 conversations this week from 2 people in our community. One is a local politician and another is the head of a large corporation in town. They said, we can't stop talking about you." One came in for a tour
Wow.
yesterday and he almost hijacked the tour and saying, "Oh no, tell him about this. Tell him about this." And then I went to a fundraising event with this as a plus one with a corporation in town. And they're like, "I've never seen anything like what they've got going on at Grace Care Center." And so I'm like, what's easier than telling your own stories when other people tell it for you? So I think those are some really lead indicators. And those 2 conversations came from confidence in having, the courage to invite someone in for a tour and to really focus on getting my emails out for meetings and things like that. So all those little steps lead to the big things.
Wow.
I know.
That's so fun.
That was just yesterday. Those were two things yesterday. That
I
was
love
crazy.
that.
I know.
Okay, so what was it like? I mean, you were asking for meetings and tours
Mhm.
and you were sending emails before.
Yeah.
I mean, how effective was it previously and how many meetings are you getting versus how many are you getting now?
Um, oh gosh. Well, I don't have the concrete numbers on that, but many a month, I'm sending. So we spent a little time in CourageLab talking through KPIs. So making sure that I'm blocking out time on Mondays for invitations, because I've learned that if I send them early in the week, they're most likely to get responded to and meetings set up than if I send them later in the week.
Bingo.
Carving out time to go on LinkedIn. I've had several tours booked to come see our organization just through LinkedIn outreach. And that's opened the door to some grants, even, which is super great. And that a lot of our invitation list came through LinkedIn network. So, oh, this person would be interested in that kind of thing. So, making sure that I'm spending time doing that just free research, which is really cool. So I don't know numerically what the volume is then versus now, but I feel like it's a better fit. Early on, my meetings were are very engaged volunteers, donors who've been with us for a long time. And those were really great conversations, but I think they get tired of talking to me every now and then. So to have some new people joining us and making new introductions is a nice renewed energy to have.
Yeah. I mean, I remember what your numbers are
Oh, okay.
because you told me because I asked you like 3 months ago. Um, you said that you got something, I think it was 24 or 25 total one-on-one meetings for all of 2024. And then
Okay.
this year you 4x'd that. And that
Okay.
was like 3 months ago. So
That sounds legit. Yeah, that's
you've,
about kind
you've,
of I'm tired. Yeah.
I mean, that's fair, but you wanted more meetings and
I
you got
did.
them.
I
So,
did.
and
Yeah.
it's like, I think also what's really beautiful about it is that people typically have November and December as high pressure cooker months because you have to perform. Now you're working 60 hours a week the end of the year because you need to bring your 40% of your revenue is coming in those last 2 months of the year. And I know that December has always been a really big month for you too. Now you're front loading all of this revenue and all of these meetings in the first 6 months of the year, January through July or through June.
Mhm.
And, I think that's part of what, I mean, you tell me, but has made a big difference in terms of your confidence, in terms of your stress relief.
Mhm.
Like that's so stress relieving. That's part of why I do what I do is because there are bigger gifts available. You just need the right approach and the right
Mhm.
strategy and you're proof of that, I think that you've front loaded some things that used to be on the back end of the calendar year, and that was stress inducing.
Oh, for sure. And I think I don't even know if you remember this conversation. I think I said to you at one point, I'm like, Julie, a lot of our donors just want to give at the end of the year. And you said to me, you said, are you conditioning them to give at the end of the year? And a huge light bulb went on in my mind, and I thought, I think I am. So
Huh.
I've really tried to add in some fun fundraising campaigns earlier in the year. We need more revenue in quarter two is quarter two and quarter three are often very hard for us. And so creating some of those giving opportunities around some fun fundraising campaigns earlier in the year has paid off for us too. We had a great fundraising campaign over the summer. It met goal, and people are looking forward to maybe doing it again next year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you have any moments going through Courage Lab where you thought, like, I don't know if this is going to work? Or like you faced some kind of like rejection or you heard no and you got discouraged. Like,
No, I don't think so. I'm honestly, as wimpy as I'm making myself sound in confidence, I I can handle no pretty well. Um,
huh.
yeah, no is okay for me. I know that there's other yeses out there, and just because it's a no from someone right now, doesn't mean it's a no forever. And if it's a no from someone, then maybe my time is better spent with someone else anyway. So I'm okay with no. So I don't think I've ever been discouraged. I think overwhelmed at the amount of work that I need. And because I care for the organization so much, I don't want to let things fall. And I care about our supporters so much. I think that's where I wear a lot of overwhelm. And if I don't meet a fundraising goal or um, revenue is a little slower, that's where I probably get discouraged because I just want to succeed so well. And it's not a personal success. It's I want to make sure that the doors can stay open when people need to come for care.
Hmm. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
cool.
Um, let's see. What else do I want to ask you? Mm, okay. What would you say to somebody who is, maybe they're a solo executive director like you, they're thinking about investing in something like this and believe that they sense like there's an opportunity with major gifts, but it feels like, okay, this is a significant investment for us.
Mhm.
They're thinking, how do I get my board to buy in and how can I make the case for them for this? So what would be your advice? Like, and if you could get as specific as what you said to your board,
Mhm.
what case you made, I feel like you're really good at that. So maybe people can take a page from your book. What would you tell someone who's in that position that you were in?
Mhm. I think I would share if someone was questioning whether or not there's value in working with you, Julie, I would probably start with the fact that I knew that this would be a big investment for our organization. We have a very tight budget, so much so that I was working on my own personal laptop last year. Had my own printer from home, and so I I don't take investments like this lightly. They are not haphazard. And so I made the case that we had a really strong year end, but if we wanted to double momentum, if we wanted to live into being more than $1 million organization, if we want to grow into being a $3 million organization, we have to invest and we have to invest in my continuing education. I have to learn from people who are doing really well in the space. It's more than just buying a book on my shelf or trying to glean information from the internet. I needed that accountability. I did also share that they're paying really one salary right now, and I need support. And so I advocated working with you because you were going to be able to give me that support and accountability in that special niche that none of my board members possess. So it's, if I needed help building a budget or something like that, that's something that I think that they could help me with. But this was something that none of them had in their own skill set. And so they thought, after looking at the course, after looking at CourageLab, after hearing some of the testimonies from previous clients, that this would be a good investment. I would also say that sometimes you have to emulate the organization you want to be. So if we want to be a $3 million organization, we can't be working on the personal laptop anymore. We have to be having high value conversations. We have to be building a trust with worthiness that our donors
Mm.
are going to want to support because we look a certain way, we convey ourselves a certain way. And so you have helped other organizations do that, and that's what they wanted ours to look like as well. So that's why they chose to make the investment. I would say I was just disappointed that it was only 6 months. So I learned a lot in the 6 months, and I have some tools that I'll always have with me for the rest of my career. So thanks for that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say, what I think made you successful was that you showed up, you asked great questions, you implemented, you were what I would say a star student. And, uh, you know, I think I struggle with this when I go through programs and work with coaches that I like take what they say and I modify it too much. I'm like, because I'm such a rebel. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Let me just change 50% of it and then it doesn't work.
Well, you know what? That's the value in honestly an expensive investment. I probably would have Frankensteined the free advice I got on the internet,
Mm,
but I knew that I was paying for it. I knew that if I didn't show up, that was money wasted. If I didn't put the work in, that was money wasted. Obviously, the investment that we made as a board, that was donor dollars. And so I my number one job, I want to make any money that our donors give, I want to be a good steward of that. And so if I knew that I had spent money that was given to our organization on, some sort of coaching or anything, and I didn't use it, what a waste would that have been?
mm, yeah. Yeah, it's a matter of integrity.
Yeah.
I think you just took what was available, the coaching, the templates, the frameworks, the formulas, you implemented it, you took it and you just ran with it. And yeah, it's just been pure joy working with you. You're such an amazing leader and your organization is worthy of millions and what you all do is so important. So it's just been a real honor and I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your own experience. Is there anything else that you want to share with listeners? Any last words you want to impart? Any wisdom or advice?
Oh gosh, no pressure there. I just want to say thank you, Julie. Thanks. It's been really just a gift and a blessing to have you as part of my team, to know you're rooting for me and to know that you honestly are not going to sugarcoat anything. I appreciate it. So that's exactly what I needed.
Yeah, you can count on me for that. Yeah, I'm so grateful. Thank you for your trust
Thanks.
and it means a lot.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.